Why are plants so different? How do they survive where they grow? Learn how parts of plants help them survive where they live. Follow Miss Leah's garden's plants as they return to their homes, and find out how they can live in such different places. The Plants Find Their Homes. Written by Yeon-sook, illustrated by Joo-young, edited by Karen L. Kenny. Ms. Leah had a beautiful garden. She grew plants from all over the world in her garden. But one day, the plants stopped growing. They looked sick. Their leaves started to droop. Ms. Leah tried her best to help the plants, but they did not get better. I want these plants to be healthy. Should I send them back to where they used to live? Ms. Leah thought for a long time. Then she called the animals to come help. Could you please take the plants to where they came from? The animals looked at the dying plants. They felt sad for the sick plants. Every plant has a habitat where it grows best. A habitat is a place that has the right soil, air, water, and light for the plant to grow. Deserts, forests, mountains, oceans, lakes, and prairies are some different kinds of habitats. So the animals decided to help. They each took a plant and left on a journey. Ms. Leah waved until she couldn't see the animals anymore. Thank you. I'm counting on you. Under the hot sun, the camel walked with a cactus on its back. A hot sandstorm blew, but the camel still walked. It looked for a place where the cactus would grow well. The camel kept walking, but no place seemed right. Then the cactus said, "Dear camel, plant me here." "This place is hot and dry. Can you really grow here?" asked the camel. "Yes, it's fine," said the cactus. So the camel dug a hole and planted the cactus there. The cactus stretched out its roots. "When it rains, my roots suck in the water. The water collects in my stem, so I grow well in the desert, even without much water," said the cactus. A cactus grows in the desert where it does not rain often. The plant can take in a lot of water through its roots. The big and thick stem stores this water. The cactus uses this stored water in dry times. The leaves are spines or scales. They help hold water inside the plant. This helps the plant survive the dry desert. The two elephants carried a baobab tree. It had branches shaped like roots. They planted the tree in a dry, hot grassland. Then the elephants moved their big ears to cool off. "Baobab tree, aren't you hot and thirsty?" asked an elephant. The baobab tree spread its branches toward the sky. "It will rain soon for many days. My roots will pull in water. I will store the water in my thick trunk. When it doesn't rain, I can use the water in my trunk." Baobab trees grow in the tropical grasslands of Africa. There are 2 seasons there. The rainy season is when rain falls for many days. The dry season is very hot, with little rain. Baobab trees store water in their thick trunks in the rainy season. This helps the trees survive the dry season. The orangutan planted the Rhaphidophora plant in a thick forest. The young plant grew quickly and climbed up a tree. Soon holes appeared in its upper leaves. "Plant, do you have some kind of disease?" asked the orangutans. "This place is hot, and it rains a lot," the plant said. "So there are many big trees. When I climb up a large tree, it's harder for sunlight to reach my lower leaves. So the holes in my upper leaves let sunlight shine through. Then all my leaves grow evenly." The Rhaphidophora is a vine plant that grows in the rainforest. Its upper leaves have many holes. Its lower leaves have few or no holes. They use the sunlight that shines through the holes from above. This helps the plant survive in the thick forest. The monkey carried the mangrove to the ocean. It planted the tree by the beach. Soon the tide came in, and ocean water flooded the land. "Mangrove, can your roots grow in the water?" the monkey asked. "I have long roots that reach down into the mud at the bottom of the water," said the mangrove. Mangroves grow in tropical beaches and wetlands. Their roots are long. They can hold up their trunks in the soft mud. The roots filter out salt from the ocean water. This lets the trees use the water to grow. It helps the trees survive in the wet and muddy land. The cat brought the ginkgo tree to a warm place and planted it there. The cat stayed and watched the ginkgo tree grow. One day, the green leaves turned yellow. Then the leaves began to fall. "Ginkgo tree, are you sick? Why are your leaves falling?" the cat asked. "I'm dropping my leaves for the winter. It helps me save water and keep nutrients in my body. In spring, new green leaves will grow again," said the tree. Ginkgo trees grow in areas with a warm climate and 4 seasons. In summer, the trees grow leaves to make food from sunlight. In the fall, it gets colder and there is less sunlight each day. The leaves cannot make food, so the tree drops its leaves. This helps the tree survive the cold winter. The martin brought the edelweiss plant up a high mountain. The higher it climbed, the colder it got. When the plant saw flowers on the rocky hillside, it said, "My friends are here. I want to be here too." The martin planted the edelweiss and asked, "How can you live in such a cold place?" "My thick stem and leaves are furry. They protect me from cold winds and keep in water. It helps if I grow next to my friends too," said the plant. An edelweiss plant grows on cold and windy mountains. It is short and has strong roots. The stem and leaves have soft hairs. Also, many plants grow together. This helps the plant survive on the mountains. The reindeer carried the fir tree. It dug through the snow and into the dirt with its hooves. Then the reindeer planted the fir tree. The tree's pointy leaves poked the reindeer's body. When the cold wind blew, the reindeer frowned and asked, "It's cold. How are you going to survive the long, cold winter?" "My pointy leaves keep out the cold. They also hold in water," said the fir tree. A fir tree is an evergreen tree that grows in cold places. These areas have long, cold winters. The tree's thin, pointy leaves block out the wind and keep in water. This helps the tree survive long, windy winters. The emperor penguin brought its plant to Antarctica. This is a very cold and icy plain. The penguin walked through a blizzard. It was hard to see and the wind blew hard. But the penguin wanted the plant to live, so it kept going. The penguin planted the Antarctic moss on top of a rock. "How will you live on this frozen rock?" asked the penguin. "I stick flat to the rock and live in a group of moss. We survive cold blizzards together," said the moss. Antarctic moss is a plant that grows in Antarctica. It is cold there the whole year. It grows flat in groups on dirt or rocks. This helps it survive the cold weather of Antarctica. Back in the beautiful garden, Ms. Leia thought about the plants. Have all the plants returned to their homes? Are they growing well? Then a bluebird came to deliver good news. "Ms. Leia, all the plants are doing well. Even in the hot desert, the dry grassland, the thick forests by the ocean, and on high mountains, or in the warm and cold places, the plants are all growing well." Ms. Leia smiled. Her plants were all happy at home. She knew they would live and grow well for many years. Smart principles. Where do plants live? Plants change over time to fit where they live. They adapt to different places to survive. Learn how plants adapt and live in different places. Tropical forests. It is hot and rainy the whole year in tropical forests. There's a lot of sunlight and water plants use to grow. Plants grow very quickly and all through the year. Some plants have large, broad leaves. Vine plants grow on other plants. They help form a thick forest. Dry grasslands. Dry grasslands grow in places with 2 seasons. The rainy season is when it rains for many days. The dry season is when it rarely rains. In the dry season, the plants do not grow much. In the rainy season, plants grow quickly to form a green prairie. Dry deserts. This area is very dry, which makes it difficult for plants to live. Plant leaves usually let water out into the air. Desert plants have leaves that are small or look like thorns, and the stems are very thick. This helps the plant store enough water to grow. Warm areas. In warm areas, there are 4 seasons. It never gets too cold or too hot. Different plants grow well in these areas, such as trees with big leaves and evergreen trees with pointed leaves. Windy mountains. On mountains, the temperature drops the higher you go up. Small plants survive strong winds by living closely together. Some plants have thick stems and leaves and are covered with soft hairs. Cold areas. Some cold areas have short, cool summers and long, cold winters. Plants that grow here have leaves shaped like needles. This keeps nutrients and water inside the plants. Antarctica. It is hard for plants and animals to live in the icy lands of Antarctica. Cold and strong winds blow all year. Small plants grow slowly there. Carl Linnaeus, inventor of scientific plant names. Plants that adapt and live in various environments have scientific names. Here is the story of Carl Linnaeus, a botanist. This is a scientist who studies plants. Linnaeus made a system of naming plants that we still use today. Carl Linnaeus was born to be a scientist. His childhood nickname was Little Botanist. He loved plants and insects and grew a small garden at home. This bellflower is bell-shaped. That flower has big and flat petals. Linnaeus grew up and went to medical school, but he still loved plants, so he started studying botany instead. The more you learn, the more mysterious the plant world is. One day, a professor from the university came to see Linnaeus. "Why don't you come with me to find and study new plants?" "Sounds good." In 1732, he went to northern Finland to find new plants. It was a very cold place with snow all year. "There are a lot of plants that I've never seen before. I have to take this with me too. There are so many amazing plants." Linnaeus returned from the trip. He thought about more than 100 kinds of plants he found. "Since different countries call the plants different names, I have no idea what to call these plants." Linnaeus thought it would be good to name plants like a person's first and last names. The first part of the name will tell what the plant looks like or who first discovered it. The second part of the name will tell the place where the plant lives or its qualities. This is how Linnaeus sorted and named more than 8,000 kinds of plants. Thanks to Linnaeus, I no longer confuse the name of plants. It would be nice if animals were named the same way. Linnaeus named a plant growing in the north after himself. That flower's name is Linnea borealis. It means Linnaeus that grows in the north. Aren't the flowers pretty? Plants are incredible living things. Here are some interesting facts about plants and how they can grow. Glassworts. Glassworts are plants that grow in groups on tidal flats or beaches. Glassworts contain many nutrients our body needs, such as calcium, potassium, and iron. Glassworts can heal people's blood and veins. Scientists can create medicine from glassworts. Greenhouses. A greenhouse is a building where people grow plants. They have a controlled temperature, moist air, and allow light inside. Greenhouses are built in cold areas. They let people there grow plants that usually grow in hot areas. Summer fruits, such as watermelons and melons, can grow in warm greenhouses, even when it's cool outside. Plants that produce flowers also grow in greenhouses. Let's think. Do you remember how a cactus can live in a dry desert? How about why a mangrove tree has such long roots? Why do ginkgo trees lose their leaves in the fall? What helps a fir tree save water? Pause the video and go back and see if you can find the answers. Thank you for listening to The Plants Find Their Homes. Written by Yeon-sook, illustrated by Joo-young, and edited by Karen L. Kenny.